Former Gambian diplomat criticizes President Barrow as he launches a new Gambian embassy in Saudi Arabia. Nigerian authorities intensify efforts to combat prevalence of drugs in the country. And the shortage of AstraZeneca's vaccine has sparked concern in different countries as the new infections continue to rise. Well, these and more coming your way on The World Today. Hello, this is iAfrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante. Many thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. And we begin with matters of the presidency. Gambian President Adama Barrow has inaugurated the country's embassy and ambassador's residence in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on Monday. But not everyone is impressed with the new development, as former Deputy Ambassador to Saudi, General Lamin Bojang, blasted the Gambian leader for taking credit of a project that was unhinged. Binta Jallo tells us more of that in this report.
The Gambian embassy in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was inaugurated by His Excellency Adama Barrow earlier on Monday. The new facility means Gambian will no longer pay at least $100,000 per year to house its diplomatic mission in the kingdom. The move comes as President Barrow, accompanied by the First Lady Fatoumata Barrow, senior government officials, is on a week-long special visit to the kingdom. In his inauguration speech, President Barrow said he is proud that his government fully funded the construction of the project to provide a conducive and secured office and residence for the embassy and the ambassador. But not everyone is impressed about Barrow-led administration taking ownership of an initiative that wasn't theirs. The former deputy head of mission to Saudi, General Lamin Bojang, who served in Gambia's diplomatic mission between 2011 and 2013, blasted the Gambian leader of taking credit of a project that started years before he took office. The former deputy head of mission to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia strongly recommended that President Barrow and his government give the devil its due.
So the project of this building of the residence of the ambassador and the deputy ambassador has been on since 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013. I thought that that project has been concluded and the ambassadors moved to this place. But I received disturbing news that this particular government is claiming that they're the one who sponsored that particular project. That is not the right record.
While paying homage to the former government for initiating the project, the NAD party leader urged the Barrow government to give Jammeh's government credit instead of taking full ownership.
I am really disappointed. I am a living witness to what had happened. I'm a living witness to what had happened. So when I heard that they also want to inaugurate, but this is not a surprise to me, because this government had claimed that they have started projects that had been there well before their arrival. A typical example is this Sukuta Jaban Road. The Sukuta Jaban Road has not been Adama Barrow's project. And this project that is in Saudi Arabia too is not his project. And I think we have to be honest to ourselves. This government has to be honest to themselves. You see, cheating doesn't pay. Lies will not pay. What is important is that you are the government. Yes, if for instance, a government is going to inaugurate a particular project that has been started by a former government, you can give them credit. That does not mean that people are going to say that you are useless or you're not working. But for them to say that entirely this project is there, that is not true.
General Bojang said all this government is trying to do is giving credits to themselves that could earn them some points. He added that you cannot hate Yahya Jammeh's regime to the extent of not giving them a credit for the good things that they have done for the country. We asked about the importance of the embassy in Saudi Arabia. General Bojang had this to say.
Our embassy in Saudi Arabia is a ceremonial embassy in Saudi Arabia, and their function is not Gambian based, because right now the ambassador who is there has been there for the past 12 years or past 11 years. That in itself, it is illegal. But for some reason, because of corruption, because of nepotism, because of you appoint people based on who those kind of things. Our responsibility, Saudi Arabia is important to the Gambia.
The former deputy head of mission in Saudi Arabia said there is a need for the Gambia to put people who can sell the agenda of the Gambia out there at its embassies, especially to the Arab world. For iAfrica News, Binta Jallow.
The Gambian President Adama Barrow inaugurates a new Gambian embassy and ambassador residence in Saudi Arabia. And from the report there by Binti Jallow to some other news now, because the managing director of Jah Oil Company, Mahmoud Hydra, said the building of a police post is part of the ongoing Banjul project as agreed upon with the late IGP Mahmoud Job. The press conference held on Sunday comes at a time when Mayoress Lowe denied her council being informed of the construction of a police post by Jah Oil Company. Here's more details of that in this report.
After hearing rumors of Jah Oil Company building a project at the old cemetery in Banjul, the mayor of Banjul City Council, Rahim Malik Lowe, embarked on a visit at the construction site on Tuesday. Reports appear to show that the company is planning to construct a police post at the said cemetery. However, Mayoress Lowe said the council was never consulted prior to the construction of the said police post. In a press conference on Sunday at the Jah Oil construction site, the managing director of Jah Oil, Mamadou Haidara, said the agreement of building a police post around the Bond Road was done between them and the late IGP Job.
When IGP Job was alive, we had an engagement. And one of them were, we have several projects that Jah Oil Company is sponsoring for the Gambia Police Force. And then among them, there are many, I cannot name all of them, but one of them is this particular project at Banjul. So he appealed to us to see if we can help build a police post for the Gambia Police Force in this area, because he cited so many important reasons. One of them is the place is prone to so many crimes and the dangers in the traffic, especially at the Johnson, the intersection between the Banjul Highway and the Bond Road. So we said, no problem, we can add that to our list and we'll be able to help build that place for you.
Haidara said after the demise of the late IGP, he was called by IGP Sanyang to discuss the pledges they had.
Unfortunately, he has an untimely demise. And then we were summoned by the current IGP one day for a meeting. In that meeting, it was very friendly. He received us well. And all he wants us to know was to see if all the pledges we have made with the Gambia Police Force, if they still stand. Because he understands that there were so many things we pledged in the past. And we told him categorically that, yes, that was not for IGP Job per se. It was for the Gambia Police Force. As long as the police is there, the project still stands. And then this particular project was part of it.
According to the oil company, they were not involved in obtaining approvals and clearance for the location, but instead the sole responsibility of the Gambia Police Force. Jah Oil Company made it clear that the issue of the sale of former radio seed to Jah Oil was never a government allocated, but a sale between a private property owner and the company. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Fatoumata Kasim.
The Jah Oil Company clarifies as to why they are involved in constructing a new police post in Banjul. Next to Nigeria we go, where in their quest to make Nigeria a drug-free nation, the Drug Law Enforcement Agency intercepted over 90 billion naira worth of illicit drugs in the last 5 months and has arrested over 2,000 traffickers, including 5 drug barons controlling different cartels across Nigeria. On the commemoration of marking World Drug Day, the Nigerian President Muhammad Buhari inaugurated the War Against Drug Abuse initiated by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Here's more details of that in this report.
Matthew Nyap is a fashion designer who struggled with drug abuse for many years. He was only 15 years old when he got involved in substance misuse, resulting in drug dependence. Matthew is happy he overcame his problems after undergoing rehabilitation with a non-governmental organization. But he says he regrets losing a blossoming music career he had.
I lost my career. I lost the music at line, music that I was using drugs for. I lost the career over there. Then I lost my integrity. I think without those things, I was having a youth foundation. Then I lost everything. All my businesses. I could have been great.
While Matthew managed to put drugs behind him, many in the country are still battling drug abuse. The United Nations says over 14% of Nigerians aged between 15 and 64 abuse drugs. An NGO offering help to people battling drug abuse in Nigeria says there are many different causes.
Chaotic home environment, where people have dysfunctional family systems. This can really serve as a strong predisposition. You also have people using to cope with life's challenges. So a lot of people are on the low income, earn very little, and to cope with the stressors of life, and also even enhance their ability to work to make ends meet, they get to use certain substances. Other people just use as a result of curiosity and experimentally.
But the experts say overcoming drug abuse is possible if victims seek help.
I stand testament to the fact that it's possible. I do what I do from a very personal perspective because I have been a drug user, actively abusing drugs for about 13 years of my life. I have been sober for 7 years. So yes, I want to give hope to that person out there and say it is possible to get help, if you need help. But first of all, we are sick as our secret. We have to find a safe space, where you can talk about everything.
The Institute for Security Studies says the number of drug users in Africa is expected to increase by nearly 150% by 2050. It's a worrying projection for a country like Nigeria with Africa's largest population. But the government says it is working towards a drug abuse-free nation. In the past 3 months alone, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it has arrested about 2,000 drug traffickers in the country and seized over 2 million kilograms of assorted illicit drugs within the period. With such actions and support for drug abusers, campaigners hope there will be more success stories like Matthew's.
From the report there in Abuja, Nigeria, let's return to President Barrow's engagement in Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Fund for Development said it is extending loan scheme for 5 agreements amounting to around $40 million to help the Gambia government finish its pending project. The new development came following the meeting between President Adama Barrow and the officials of the Saudi Fund for Development at Rahman Al Mushab on Saturday. Here's more details of that in this report by Amindal.
The Gambia government enjoys a fruitful partnership with Saudi Fund for Development, which for the past 40 years has been providing significant financial assistance to the West African state. President Barrow's meeting with the Saudi cooperation officials further signifies the bilateral ties the two parties endorse. The Saudi Development Agency last year signed an additional $12 million loan agreement with the Gambia government to finance the rehabilitation of the Banjul International Airport. Speaking shortly after meeting the Gambian leader, the Director of Operations at the Saudi Fund for Development lauded the agency's cooperation with the Gambia government whilst outlining the projects the agency is currently funding.
Excellency, our relation with the government of Gambia extends to more than 40 years, and we extended 14 projects with a total amount of $180 million in addition to extending 5 loans with a total amount of around $40 million US dollars. And as His Excellency mentioned, that 7 projects are ongoing right now, and inshallah we are hoping that we will finalize those projects within the next 18 months, inshallah.
The Saudi officials have also renewed their commitment in supporting the Gambia government's development programs to improve the lives of the ordinary citizens. President Adama Barrow is on a 7-day state visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where he has been meeting different development partners from the Asian nation. The Gambian leader inaugurated the Gambian embassy and the ambassador's residence in Riyadh on Monday and is expected to depart for Banjul on Tuesday. The Saudi Development Fund is one of the largest developments and sustainable assistance providers. Since 1975, the SFD has played a pivotal role by providing loans and financial assistance to more than 1,000 projects in developing nations, including Gambia. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Amindao.
Amindao reports there as President Barrow meets with different officials in his engagement in Saudi Arabia. Now let's do some COVID-19 news, because the coronavirus global pandemic has spiked again across Africa with highly contagious Delta variant spreading to more countries. Now at least 20 African countries are affected by the 3rd wave, according to the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Experts warn that the 3rd wave is likely to be more devastating than the previous ones because the continent is still lagging behind in the global vaccination drive. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is worried. It says it has reasons to believe that the 3rd wave of the COVID-19 pandemic is seriously affecting more than 20 member states.
We are in the middle of a 3rd wave. At least 20 countries are now fully and in the middle of their 3rd wave across the continent, and it is a very devastating. One thing we see is that the peak of the 3rd wave is remarkably higher than the peak of when we had the 2nd wave.
What is known as the 3rd wave has shockingly stretched the health infrastructures of African states, with huge hospital bed shortages being reported. John Kengasong says the 3rd wave is also worsening due to the Delta variant.
Within 6 weeks, that variant in DRC became a very, very predominant variant. And with that, analysis is going on across several member states to understand what the situation is. And maybe, and just maybe, the variant in question is the Delta variant is perhaps playing a very significant role.
Africa still is banking on the prospects of vaccinating its citizens to permanently defeat the COVID-19 pandemic. But that plan is in jeopardy as the continent only vaccinated 1.1% of its population so far. The good news is Africa CDC is expecting hundreds of millions of doses of vaccines and has finished preparations to produce jobs within the continent.
Africa CDC raises concern as the new COVID variant spread it across the continent. Well, there's more COVID-19 news coming ahead, but for now we'll take a break and come back shortly with the remainder of the story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back, and you're watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV. And now to the rest of the stories. Now, countries have started to raise concern over the delay in supply of the COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine amid compromised immunity as the interval between first and second doses extends. Many countries across the region have run out of AstraZeneca shots and said they don't have any new deliveries confirmed at the time. Nesise has more details of that in this report.
The shortage of COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine has created uncertainty for people hoping to book an appointment for a second dose. It is still unclear if those who received the first dose of the vaccine could take the second dose of a different vaccine. However, as many are worried that the delay in taking their second dose could cause them some harm. Research showed that the antibody levels increase after a delayed second dose. According to the Oxford University news release, a longer delay between the first and second dose may be beneficial, as it results in an increase in antibody and also enhanced immune response. Professor Andrew Pollard, lead investigator of the Oxford University trial of the vaccine, said there is an excellent response to a second jab, even after a 10-month delay from the first one. Some countries are considering administering a third dose, but research has also shown that the third dose is tolerated and significantly boosts the immune response. Poorer countries might be stalled at the first shots of their coronavirus vaccinations, because nearly all deliveries through the global program intended to help them are blocked in vaccine supply. Research out of the UK appeared to suggest that the second vaccine could be different than the first one, and studies are still looking at whether or not people can mix vaccines. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
This is a reporting there on the shortage of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Now, the program coordinator of Gam House of Fashion said they will provide, or they'll be donating a percentage of what is made out of their most anticipated Tabaski Fashion Night to various hospitals. The event, slated for the 9th of July 2021 at Penchami Hall, will bring together members of the Gambia House of Fashion and Association of Tailors and designers who will be exhibiting their finest arts and designs to the public. Fatma Kasim has more details of that in this report.
Every build-up before Tobaski, Gam House of Fashion organizes a fashion night to showcase new and creative materials as well as styles that will be available for the festive season. But this year's event is different, as organizers intend to return a portion of the money back to the society. Pamodu Sar, the program coordinator of the association, said a percentage of the money made from the event will be used to support maternity wards of different hospitals in the country.
Yes, we know that maternal mortality has been a problem in this country for quite a while now, and we feel that it is definitely incumbent upon us to also be able to support that aspect of of our people. Because remember, many a times, just let me connect this dot. When a woman actually delivers, there is a christening ceremony. And most of those times, they will have to come to us as tailors, as designers, to be able to have their clothes, to be able to go and have their ceremonies with their friends, family, and loved ones. Now, if an instance that we are able to support, based on the monies that we have been collecting from them as well, based on our creative designs, it is important for us also to plow back, to support them so they can be healthy with their kids, and then be able to still come to us. Because if somebody has a problem out there, definitely getting to us. And that is the secret behind the whole thing. And we definitely want to make sure that we support people at all costs when it comes to this. We're going to expand this depending on the number, or let's say the amount of resources that is going to be available to us.
In the past, Gambians will go to neighboring countries to do their designs, but to Amar Sar, this is as a result of the significant role media played in those countries. The CEO of Amad's Creation also called on the Gambian media to beam their lights on the designers so as to expose their talents to the world.
We created this fashion night for the people engaged in fashion, especially the youth, to showcase their talent. This is not for competition, but to showcase our talent for Gambians to know what Gambian can also do. The event is scheduled for 9th of July and everything has to do with fashion will be displayed on that night. Our Gambian people are fond of going to neighboring countries to do their design, and when we have people who can do that for them, or even better than what they look for in other countries, but all of this is because the way their people promote them through the help of the media.
To the CEO of MNJ's Creation, Morangiran, the problem facing the country is lack of confidence in their people, saying Gambians favor foreign products than locally made ones. For the designer, this has to stop, even though the number have gone down, but they want to stop it completely.
Because the problem be moy, man gis na ko da ngay ñawlo Sénégal ba sonu bo ñun ñokay défer. Just to answer you.
The problem we face as Gambians is that we lack confidence in our people. Most of the time, when we do our design, people ask us if our designs are not from the Gambia. In most cases, when they go to Senegal, they do their design. We will end up fixing it for them before they will able to use it.
Tala Willan, the CEO of Ideal Mode, one of the sponsors of the event, called on potential sponsors to come on board to support these young designers who are trying to make way in the fashion world. Tala said even though he is part of the association, he has decided to sponsor the event because he believes in the talents of his colleagues.
The program bi ñuy wax Tabaski Night Fashion.
Well, we are all into this together as young designers, being part of the association and at the same time sponsoring the event. This just shows the belief and confidence I have in this association and the people we have in the association.
The night is characterized by model on the runway, as per designers, as well as entertainment by various Gambian musicians. The association urged the public to come out in their numbers to support the program, as what is made from it will be given back to the society. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Fatoumata Kasim.
Interesting one there. Gambia fashion designers and tailors intend to break the barriers. Well, wish them good of luck ahead of next month's event. Now let's end this news bulletin with some COVID-19 news again. Now, as Africa experienced the third wave of COVID-19 pandemic, Zimbabwe has received 500,000 doses of Chinese Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine will be dispatched to the COVID-19 hotspots across the country. The government hopes to vaccinate at least 10 million of the country's 40 million people by the end of the year, but has struggled to obtain the jobs because the producers have focused their manufacturing to cater for local needs. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The fresh consignment will shore up dwindling stocks, which had led to some people being turned away from vaccination centers that had run out or where second doses have been getting priority. The jabs will provide much-needed protection against a renewed rise in infections, hospital admissions and deaths as a third wave of the pandemic gains momentum. Localized hard lockdowns have been imposed in 12 hard-hit areas across 3 provinces. The doses received today will be immediately dispatched to those COVID-19 hotspots, as well as densely populated and high-risk areas, including border posts, the tobacco sales floors, as well as grain delivery depots and food and vegetable market stalls. While vaccination remains voluntary, some groups may soon be compelled to get their shots.
And we are going to say, if you really want to be selling at your marketplace or to be where you are, you need to be vaccinated. We definitely need to see that you have your certificate. For you to continue doing that business, we do not want any Zimbabwean to be a risk to another Zimbabwean.
Additional vaccines have been procured and are expected in the coming weeks.
We've received 500,000 today. By end of next week, we'll receive another 2 million vaccines from Sinovac. 2 weeks after that, we want to bring in another 1.5 million vaccines from Sinopharm. And want to carry on so that by end of August, we bring in another 3.5 million vaccines again from China.
By June 25th, more than 1.2 million people had received at least one of their jabs. The country plans to inoculate about 10 million people to achieve herd immunity.
That COVID-19 report in Harare, Zimbabwe brings this news edition to an end. But there will be more news at 19:30 GMT, 7:30 local time. You can join us then if you can. But for now though, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator.